Okay, we're just going to have a quick look at AutoData here and how to get into it. So, on your web browser, this is the address you should have typed in at the top up here, and this will pop up this login page for you. So you've all been given a username and password. Just don't change usernames or passwords on it, and then just log in to the system itself. So what we want to do is, for this section, just have a brief look around the actual site itself and see what's in here, with special regard to lighting diagrams and that type of thing, and using wiring diagrams on it. If you see this page that pops up first, it gives us technical information, estimate calculator, which we're not really concerned that much about for what we're doing, but it's more in the technical information side we're going into. So if I click on that, it'll bring up the main page here, and we have ways of searching here. We can either pick a manufacturer and then pick a model, or we can search by engine code on it. So if the same thing, if you had an engine code here, it'll switch over. We pick a manufacturer and then it'll give a list of engine codes for that. So if we said Volkswagen here, we click on Volkswagen, it should throw us up a list of engine codes for Volkswagen here and what cars they're related to. So if I spin down through this window here, pick what AEH as an engine code for the car, it'll throw me up the details here of every car that's Volkswagen have with that engine code listed on it, their years and whatnot here on it. So if we just go for the first one here in it and say, right, it's a Bora we're looking at here, it'll bring us up into the information page about the Bora. So it's telling me here, we got a picture of the car here, engine code AEH, engine specification here, and basically around what years that engine was in use on it here. Where we really want to have a look at the minute is, because we've already seen with the stuff when we were doing the engine stuff, the general specifications in here, so technical specifications to do with engine torques, that type of thing, and we will have to use this again, this section, on when we're doing the live testing on cars. So we have a vehicle identification here. If we choose, we can open all here on this side and we get everything opened up. So vehicle identification, exactly what's it's in here, ignition system type. Again, anywhere where you're seeing this I for information here, if you click on it, it'll open up another box and give you some more information. So we can close it again there. It goes into tuning and emissions here on it, giving us basic values that we're looking for. Spark plugs, all that type of things, fuel system, the whole lot, what we're looking for here. And it's given us actually on this one here, so crankshaft position sensor or engine speed sensor, and it's given us the actual resistance value if we wanted to test that component. So that crankshaft position sensor, if I'm going to physically test it and see if it's okay, I use an ohm meter, and once my range is anywhere between 730 and 1000, it should be a good sensor. Same with injector here and oxygen sensor here, right? So it's quite a comprehensive site, giving me all this information here. Little valve clearance, exhaust valve clearance, compression rate, or pressure, oil pressure. Now again, there's something on this here, so we'll open it up here. It's telling me oil pressure above 2000 RPM should be equal to a 7-bar max, right? So everything we need to know for an awful lot of what we're doing is here, including oil classifications, and it goes right down then into brake fluids, cooling, power steering fluids, cylinder head instructions for torquing, all the torques that I may need here. Again, look, crankshaft pulley or damper center bolt, it's telling me 90 Newton meters plus 90 degrees and something else. What's it telling me? Use new nutter bolt, right, when I'm doing it. So it's quite a intuitive site, and it's well laid out here for us to follow. Now, if I'm going back and I want to go back here and take a look, really what I want to see for the minute is these wiring diagrams. And you can see in the electrical section here, it's there's quite a comprehensive list of what it does. So it tells me all about battery disconnection and reconnection. Something that was a simple thing years ago on cars. You just undid your earth side of the battery first and your power side, and then when you put a new battery in or with a recharged battery back, your power connection got connected first and then your earth connection last, and that was all you had to do. But with modern vehicles, there's a little bit more involved in it. If we see on it and click onto it about it, It tells me the battery location. And again, I'm just going to open all here. Gives me a little view of where the battery is located. General information about it. Telling me battery may disconnecting the battery may erase memory from electronic units such as radio, clock, etc. Before battery disconnection, in case there's any special procedures done, especially important for cars that have air suspension. Sometimes you have to lock them or put them into a service mode before you disconnect the battery, otherwise you lose all values on the car, and makes it a big deal to try and reset them. And then before battery connection, after ensuring vehicle interior is unoccupied, just in case the airbags go off, switch on the ignition and close all doors. After battery connection, access fault memories and erase all trouble codes, because there will be trouble codes created from the original where I disconnect the battery, especially for CAN error memories. There'll be an awful lot of CAN errors created with the sudden loss of power, and then tells me all about electric windows, sunroofs, how to reinitialize them and get them back set up into their automatic positions. If we look then on the wiring diagrams page here, we'll see it gives me a list of all the circuits that are covered on this side. So if we say, for instance, and I think the difference with AutoData and a lot of them wiring diagrams is here, AutoData have and are attempting to get them all up to color code. So whatever color code is on the car to do with it. If it's a yellow-black wire, so it mainly yellow wire with a black strip down the wire, it should match up with what you see in front of you if you're on the right diagram. And picking the right diagram really is important. So knowing year, engine code of car helps me try and do that. But you can see even with this, there's such a range here. So it's telling me ABS diagrams goes from the 8th month of the year 2000 onwards. This is from all other years up to the 7th, 2000. So different wiring diagrams in them at different stages. I think an awful lot of these body electric stuff that's in here is still in black and white. So all lines are black and white, but we'll take a look and see. So the exterior lamps one, no, we've gone to colour on this one. So we'll open up here. You'll see this box up here opens up as well, which helps us navigate around. Just close that for the minute, and we can see it's quite a large diagram we're looking at here. And if you look to where my mouse is in the center there, I can move this around. I can now move this around the place to help me out. What will also help me out is down in the bottom corner down here, I can either zoom out or zoom in. So I'm going to zoom out for a minute. I'm going to take a look at exactly what's involved here. So there is our complete diagram. This is for the lighting section, exterior lighting section. And you can see it's quite a full diagram here to try and get through. Now on Moodle, I put up what they call the AutoData legend on it, so I'll just open it up here as well, and you'll see. I'm going to pull that down out of there for a minute and go back to this. Where are we? So the legend here is, I'm going to bring it up a little bit here so we can help see it. We'll move it around here and back up. So this is all to do with these devices in here, right? So this one here, when I mouse over it, it's giving me S27 hazard warning lamp switches. Now if I use the legend here, I go down and it tells me anything with the S involved in it is to do with a switch. If I go to here, we see K2 fog lamp relay, and in my legend again it tells me anything that starts with a K is a relay. M are motors, V semiconductors. So there's quite a lot in here. This is to help me out. Anything but Y on it is a solenoid. X can be a connector. Go back up, we see G for generators, E for any sort of lamps, A for assemblies. So assemblies being anything like lamp assemblies, ECUs, control units, whatever is there is shown to me with an A in front of it. So I can use this if I get lost, but AutoData have done that nice thing where we can just hold over it, mouse over it, it'll tell me. This is S3, a headlamp switch. If I go over here, we see this is A75 instrument and control module. Now, the other thing which I took off the screen straight away up here, which helps us get around on these diagrams a little bit easier, is when we initially go onto them, they give us a list of components to do with this particular diagram. So we drop down box and we can see everything that's here on it is given us, including the codes, the S codes, the A codes, E codes. So I can pick whatever I want on this. And if we said, where are we? Indicator lamp, left hand front, right? So I'm going to select that. Now if I click on it, it'll bring me directly to it and highlight it for me, right? Now again, it's quite hard to see, so I can bring it up, move that around, zoom in on it again, and there we are there. Look, indicator lamp, left hand front. But it highlights anything we want on it. So let's go back down the list again. We'll say brake pedal position switch. Clicks on that. It brings us over to here, right? Brake pedal position switch here. We also have this little box that comes up underneath. So you see the codes relate. S13 and S13 here tells me what it is. We can found it on the diagram. It's highlighted for me. And it also, in some cases, will give me this more section. So if we click on this and go into it, we see what it's going to tell me about it. Now, we can go in here. Again, if I open all in here for just for a second so we can have a look, it'll tell me system layout, brake pedal position switch. It tells me technical data on it. So terminals 8 and 18, brake pedal released. I should have a 0 voltage. Terminal 8 and 18, brake pedal depressed. I should have battery voltage. We can view or view more information here. So if we go into it here, it'll bring up this box for me and tell me. Now these are obviously not at the brake pedal, they're at the control unit we're doing this. But it'll throw it up, show me the pins where I need to do it. Check for more information on it here. Again, the only thing it's showing me here again is this. What else have we got here on this? Brings me up the figure. So I'm going to come back out of that for a second. And if we go down here, system layout, components, component checks, wheel speed sensors, it's telling me. The type is an inductive type, which we'll cover when we get to our sensors. The air gap is not specified on it. Gives me tightening torque for the front, 8 Newton meters, tightening torque for the rear, 8 Newton meters. Shows me this ABS module harness plug, both terminal side and wire side. And then below here gives me testing, right? So brake pedal position sensor switch, terminals 41 and earth, component disconnected, ignition off, brake pedal on, should have 0 volts. Same test again, but ignition off, 11 to 14, brake pedal depressed this time. So there's quite a lot in it. Gives me trouble codes associated with this brake light switch and then wiring diagrams, right? So this is where it starts to get a little bit complicated and we need to select the right one. Otherwise we're going to get wrong test procedures or even worse, wrong values for checking our tests to see are we inside or outside our range. Now, let's go back up here and we'll see what we can find here. Again, sometimes that gets a little bit clunky on the screen here in front of you, so you can just hit that in button, it takes it off out of your way. Now you can see on the wiring diagrams, anywhere where there is a dot, a solid dot, means there's a connection between those two wires. And we can follow wires between each pin numbers or control modules and lamps. The colors of the wires, if I hold the mouse on it, this one here tells me it's a black-white. This one here tells me it's a black-green. So the initial color that it tells you, say for this is black-white, so the main color of the wire is black, and the white is either a strip on it, down the side of it, is normally the way they do it. This is again a black wire, so the strip down the side of it, or a small color on the wire is a green in this case. If we hold it over, the yellow one here is telling me the main color of the wire is yellow with a green strip down the side of it. So this one here is yellow-red, grey-yellow, grey-violet, and grey-brown. Again, if things are getting a little bit big for me or small for me, I can zoom in or zoom out here. We can see these are lamps, so this will tell me, right, if I hold mouse over it, the whole unit, it'll tell